Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm on Graham's channel with Michael.
Hi.
From America.
Yes, I'm American in Spain and on the border with Gibraltar.
What do you think of La Linea?
I love it here.
It's fabulous, isn't it? You know when you were a kid and you wake up on a Saturday morning and something like Thunderbirds is on the telly? That's what I feel like every time I wake up in this town. It's like Saturday morning, isn't it?
For real, that is literally how I feel every single day. And every time I open my front door to go outside, I'm always like, wow, I love where I live.
Yeah. And it's a really cool town.
And I'm 1 block to the beach from my house. So it's just walk out to Paseo Maritimo and you're right on the sea and you've got this beautiful view of the Rock of Gibraltar, which, unless you've been here and seen it, you don't quite know the majesty that the rock has.
Yeah. And also La Linea, the beaches, they're so expansive.
Yeah, I think we have 11 kilometers of beaches.
Have you ever been down to the Refinery Beach?
Over by Campamento? Yeah.
I love it down there.
You like that one?
That's where we go swimming.
Okay.
There's no tourists at all.
Yeah,
because they're all scared they're going to get cancer.
Yeah.
So they go to the beach like 1.5 kilometres away. Just so you know who Michael is the Spain and Gibraltar channel. He's a YouTuber. This is the guy. I was sitting on the back of the boat, and obviously my real name is not Avid Gardener. And he went, "Hey, Avid Gardener," and I just thought, oh my god, one of the trolls has sent a hitman. The death threat's coming true.
Because I always bike by that spot, and they put up a video once of their son or something jumping in the water right off the boat, and I looked at the background and I said, wait a second, I know where that restaurant is. And so I watched the video again and I was like, I think I know which boat that is, and I went by and I biked by and saw her sitting out reading a book or something, and that's when I was like, yep, that's them. So every time I'd go by, I'd be the weirdo biking by on my bike in my backpack. Hey, I have it, Gardner. You know, like.
I was like, well, friend or foe, because you never know. It's only a short flight from the UK.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can be as cheap as 20 quid, can't
it? Yeah.
I shouldn't really say that, or the trolls are gonna.
They probably will. Actually, I did just post something about cheap flights from the UK to.
But they've got to get past the Royal Gibraltar Police, then the border, then they've got to fight off. We have like 10 different police forces here in this country, don't we?
Yeah.
Right, language barriers. Michael is American.
Yeah.
Do you smoke?
Yes.
You do? Right?
Yeah, but I roll my own, and I don't smoke very often. It's more like at night I might have a fag.
So, Michael is also gay. Right? We've got to make that clear. This is not a homophobic video.
Right.
And what was it my husband said to you?
I went to the dolphin safari a couple weeks ago, and that's where I met Graham officially, because before we were just back and forth on YouTube chatting. And he said, Fiona doesn't like the fags in Spain. She prefers the fags in Gibraltar. And if you know the American
a derogatory term for gay.
It's So if anyone in the States is listening to this, they're automatically going to be like, "Oh my God, how could you say that word?" Because it's like the most derogatory word that you can say to a gay person is that. And so it's even hard for me to say, because my whole life, culture-wise, you don't say that word.
So you really thought that I don't like gay people in Spain, but I like gay people in Gibraltar?
No, because I'm accustomed to the British accent. So I knew the word, but it just sounded so funny.
For any Americans out there, a fag is a cigarette. In the UK. Yeah.
So I knew that. That's what he meant. It's just such a funny statement. And I'm sure someone will take this video and try to turn it around and make me a bad person.
He's called Christopher Boozy. Are you familiar with that name?
No.
Right.
No.
This guy is a self-appointed Twitter vigilante. And he loves to go on YouTube. Like, I had another YouTuber on a live, and he cracked some joke like, just shoot them all up.
Yeah.
And the guy, this vigilante on Twitter, said, he threatened to murder, death, kill me with a gun.
Yeah.
Right, so we do have that. And he doesn't understand a lot of English colloquial phrases.
There we are,
and
yes.
he makes a big doodah.
Yeah.
So yes, he will probably make if he gets to see this.
It's the colloquialisms that we have, like
Yeah.
in the States, the words and phrases that we use that in the UK you don't use.
Yeah.
And same thing with the words you guys use that, and even sometimes it's hard for me to understand the British accent, right? Like sometimes Graham says words and I'm like, oh wait, what was that?
Because he's a Scouser.
And then he says it again. I'm like, oh, okay, now I got it. And it's like, it's English, right?
Yeah.
But it's sometimes the accent is just hard. But
I can understand all American accents, I'm pretty sure.
well, that might be hard for some of my family in Texas because like my grandmother, my sister would never call my grandmother on the phone in Texas because she couldn't understand her. Her accent was so Texas thick, like usually when I call my family, my Texas accent goes 100%. Like so I understand Texan really well, especially like deep Texas
Texan.
where it's like their own
another race.
Yeah.
I had a friend from Texas and she had a really thick accent. So thick, she almost sounded Australian.
Yeah.
Some of the words just didn't sound American at all.
Yeah.
There's no twang in there.
Yeah, that my grandmother, she and my grandpa too, like my grandma didn't say like I'm from Minnesota. But my grandma would, well, I grew up in Minnesota. I'm originally from Texas, but my grandma would say Minnesota.
Okay.
How y'all doing up there in Minnesota? You know, like, and I'd be like, what? It's Minnesota. Or my grandpa was from Alabama, and my grandma in Texas would call it Alabama. It was just like this.
Yeah.
And nowadays in Texas, that accent isn't quite as strong or thick, especially if you're in the big cities like Houston,
it's quite a
Austin,
progressive
and
state
Dallas.
these days, isn't it? It's very into green energy and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some, push for more green energy and there's definitely a lot of sun in Texas too, so the solar panels and stuff are good, but
how do you cope here in La Linea communicating in Spanish with the natives? Because our accent here in Spanish is really different and they drop all the S's.
Yeah, perfectamente.
No problema.
No tengo ningún problema hablando español. Because, y aquí también que la gente...
But that's very Madrid.
Yeah.
What you're speaking. But when you speak to them in the shop and they say that they won't say sabes. They say sabe.
Sabe.
There's no S on it. They don't even say buenos dias, buenas tardes, buenas noches. They just say buenas.
Buena.
Or buena.
Buena.
Yeah, no
I just
S
say buena.
on it.
Yeah. And that's the thing though, because I grew up in Minnesota and we have a large Latino population in Minnesota, a lot of Mexican, Guatemalan, El Salvadorian.
Colombianos?
Not as many Ecuadorians from South America. Not as many like in my area. In my area in Minnesota, it was the larger Mexican and Guatemalan population. Right. And I grew up as a bartender and a server as my kind of profession.
Cerveza, vino.
Cerveza, vino.
It's the first word every English
You need to know
cerveza grande.
Y el baño. ¿Dónde está el baño? Because
it's never a sale.
Yeah, it's never a sale.
But the rest of Spain, it's ¿dónde están los servicios?
Los servicios.
They never say aseo anyway. Yeah. Around there it's aseo.
Yeah. Or
aseo, like some of the Gibraltarians.
Yeah, aseo. ¿Dónde está el aseo? But that's why I have my accent, my Spanish accent, is because I have a mix, and I lived in Puerto Rico, I lived in Argentina, so I have kind of like a conglomerate of...
But this area is predominantly difficult. And our neighbour, who died of COVID, he died like the week after they sort of announced COVID.
Wow.
Yeah. He had no teeth. And he was deaf. And he was born in La Linea, and I couldn't understand a word he said.
Yeah. That's like my father, especially when I had first moved here, and he would speak and cut the S's.
Yeah.
He would cut, and Jose would...
Because if you take the S off, it can make a whole different connotation in Spanish.
Yeah. Or he would lisp some of his S's, because... Of course, the C and the Z in Spanish is a th.
They don't really lisp here in this town either, don't you find?
I'm trying to think because I feel like I hear it, but then again, I don't know.
think they do the Caesar.
Are they? Okay, okay. But then the S's here, a lot of times they'll eat the S or the S.
They just lose the S.
Yeah, when they lose it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting place to live.
It is, it sure is. It's very, very old. I mean, this house is really old. This has been, our neighbour reckons this house is something like 300 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was part of the neighbour's house originally.
Okay, sure.
So this was a fishing village, wasn't it, Graham? Traditionally.
Yeah.
Going way,
Well,
way,
there was
way
no
back.
road, just the beach.
Before Franco
Just straight onto
Yeah.
the beach.
and all that.
Yeah.
Well,
So there must have been Moors who lived in
yeah.
this house at one
Well,
point.
the Moors landed here.
Yeah.
In
Oh, hang on,
711
no
or
Moors.
something.
They were, how many years ago were they?
7-11.
7-Eleven.
Oh,
Invaded
yeah,
Europe.
okay.
Maybe they lived on the beach, you know.
No, there
Near
wouldn't
it.
have been any Moors in this house. No, it's not that old. It's not quite that old. So, yeah, so you got to look out for Michael's YouTube channel. You've got two actually, haven't you?
Yeah, because I do two
Ministry
different
of
contents.
Flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ministry of Flight is just about airplanes, and then the Spain Gibraltar channel is about travel to Spain, travel to Gibraltar, and a lot of times the content I'm putting together on those channels is more just videos to send back home so that my
Right.
family and my friends can see that and be like, oh wow, Michael lives there, that's
Right.
cool, we want to go visit. And so that's really where I started with that idea, and then just kind of talking about what it's like living in La Linea, living in a border town with
Yeah.
Gibraltar, because it's just such a unique situation.
Yeah,
Um,
it certainly is. We're all hoping that border's going to disappear by Christmas.
There'll be massive changes when it does happen.
Yeah.
See, and I'm okay with it not,
Yeah,
because
because-
I think it's so cool. Like that adds the flavor to.
Well,
You don't
to
commute, do
right.
you?
Right. I only go into Jib maybe twice a week.
When
but-
you want to go in, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not on. Yeah, exactly. I'm not on a open the store or the office at this
Yeah,
time and
yeah.
close at this time and have to be commuting
Yeah.
with the crowds and
Yeah.
the rush hour, because it does get hectic down there. And I ride my bike, so I just get to swerve in between all the
Yeah.
cars right up to the front of the line and through. So that also, because I don't walk usually, I take
Yeah,
my
I
bike.
walk. And the coaches, you get a TUI coach,
Yeah.
and if
I've
they're
seen
all British, they have to be stamped. Oh my God, no one else has to. And I hear them at the front here, they go French, 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 German, you can, Brits, stamp. Because of the Brexit.
Yeah.
And they all have to be stamped going in, and they all have to be stamped going out, and they have to be scanned and checked against the international register. And I'm late for work, and I'm stuck behind 400 Brits who all need stamp. So we all have to push our way past to the police officer and show them that we're residents, and then he says, yeah, you can go through.
Yeah, okay.
But it still takes time.
Yeah. And usually for mine, because I have my resident and my American passport,
Yeah.
so with both of those documents, I'm usually just fly
Yeah.
through, but sometimes they stop me and scan.
Yeah, if you didn't have your Spanish resident, they'd stamp you, wouldn't they?
Yes,
Because
yeah.
you're American.
I'd get a stamp on the Spain side going out, I'd get a stamp coming back into Spain,
The jibs would stamp
and the
too.
jibs stamp it too, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's been so long since I've had that, I don't even remember
Yeah.
if I got a stamp in Gibraltar when I crossed the border or not. So
Yeah.
it's funny though, because I've flown from the UK to Jib, from US to the UK to Jib, and I get a stamp in the UK to
Yeah.
transit, and then I get another stamp when I land in
Yeah.
Jib. Which,
yeah, you will. And then you would have got another one going to Spain, but you've
Right.
got your residency.
but now I have the residency.
Do you still get the stamp with the Spanish residencia? You won't now.
No.
Because you're European.
Yeah, and even when I fly, like let's say I fly Chicago to Madrid,
Yeah.
I walk through the line with
Right,
the
you don't have
European.
to stay in the stamp queue.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. And then in the U.S., when I fly back home, I have a special program I enrolled in where you can just skip
Skip
customs.
the line.
Yeah, so I have that too. So travel back and forth is usually pretty easy.
Yeah,
for
we
me.
do a video on the border, but they don't allow filming. They go crazy if you.
Oh yeah, especially if you do it like inside the building, and I do have a video on how to cross the border, where I did get, but I'm very
Did you
careful.
have like a body cam?
I
didn't know that.
I did have I had it hidden, right? Like not trying to break any laws or anything, but it wasn't like I'm sitting there with my camera like
Yeah.
that, right? But
Covert.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one
Oh,
actually
right.
has a lot of.
That probably is breaking the law.
Well, let's hope not. People ask a lot of questions about it, like, "Oh, do you
Yeah,
get
I know
scammed?
loads of people ask. British people ask me. They say, what do you mean you cross a border?
Yeah,
Do you have to go on a plane or a boat or something?" And I'm like, no, you just walk through. It's
Yeah.
a land border.
yeah.
Lots of British people have never heard of Gibraltar,
Yeah.
and it's Britain.
Lots of Spanish people have never heard of Gibraltar,
Yeah.
or they come to visit
Yeah,
and they don't know how to get to the border, how to walk across. And
they don't know they need a passport.
Right.
They don't know it's another country. They don't know we have monkeys.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
They
There's-
definitely don't know we have dolphins.
Yeah, I didn't know there were dolphins until I saw the
I didn't know
dolphin
there were
safari.
dolphins until I got a job at the dolphin safari. Oh no, actually I did. We'd done the dolphin trip once before, but for years I had no idea there were dolphins.
Yeah,
Anyway, I think that's enough because I bet your phone will split it into 2 videos like mine
No.
does. Yeah.
oh wow, have we really been talking 16 minutes?
Wow.
Is that the timer? Wow. It sounds like we have a lot that we can talk about.
Just talk shit.
Yeah.
Thoughts,
looking forward
opinions,
to
comments.
it.
We'll put a link to your channel.
Cool.
Pin it in the comments.
Cool, I appreciate it. Bye guys.